Hey, what's up, guys? This is Terry. Today, I wanted to quickly share our upcoming launch of Tapio protocol on the Acala network, and especially, I wanted to spend a few minutes to talk about our first product on, the Tapio protocol, which is Tdot. For those who are not familiar, Tdot is actually our first synthetic asset, made up of DOT as well as liquid staking DOT. The entire purpose of introducing Tdot is to minimize liquidity fragmentation caused by different variations of staking dot derivatives. We're starting to see, there's a lot of new staking derivatives dot that's coming out on different parachains, and that's where Tdot comes in to solve for the liquidity fragmentation issue because Tdot ultimately is made up of standalone liquidity pools, and each of these standalone liquidity pools are made up of dot versus a liquid staking dot or liquid crowdloan dot. Basically, it's paired against a derivative dot. Anyways, the first product that we are launching in 2 days is Tdot. So I want to spend today's session to go through the benefits of Tdot as well as how to actually mint and contribute liquidity to the Tdot pool. Because during the soft launch period, we are encouraging early users as well as early supporters to really try out the Tapio protocol as well as to help us bootstrap liquidity for the Tdot pool. Not going to spill too much. For those who've kind of participated in our soft launch for Taiga protocol, you guys will definitely, realize the benefits of being one of the early users and supporters. So I'll leave it at that. But let's jump right in to, how to actually mint Tdot. Currently, Tdot is already live on the Acala platform. So if you go to the portfolio page, you can actually see Tdot is already enlisted as a asset on the portfolio page. For those who are using Acala platform, the app for the first time, one of the first things that you may have to do is to bridge over some assets, DOT particularly, to the Acala network. The Acala team has built out a bridge that allows you to bridge DOT from the Polkadot network onto the Acala network. Very easy and simple to use. So I would recommend anybody that's new to start off with, just bridging over some DOT assets to the Acala network, and then you can proceed with the next step, which is, how to mint Tdot. So very simply, if you go to the swap function, um, in order to mint Tdot, you're actually contributing liquidity to the Tdot pool. As I mentioned at the beginning of this call, Tdot is currently made up of a liquidity pool that's composed of DOT and LDOT, liquid staking DOT. So on this page, you simply select the DOT and LDOT pool. So you'll actually so you'll select this pool, and what you'll do is you can contribute either DOT liquidity or LDOT liquidity, or you can do it in a proportional format. This pool actually supports single-sided staking, so depends on what type of DOT assets you have. Feel free to contribute as much as you need or as you have. So so for example, if I just type in 50, I could do single-sided staking just with DOT, and then it's going to return 49.83 Tdot. So this is what we mean by the minting process of Tdot. And then afterwards, I'm not actually going to go through the actual transaction. I already have some Tdot that I'm holding, so I can show you guys what are the benefits of having Tdot. So once you've contributed liquidity, you will get the Tdot in return, okay, which is also an LP token. Ultimately, what that enables is to enable traders to basically swap in and out between DOT and LDOT in a very efficient low slippage format. So how you can experience that, if let's say you're coming in, if you're coming onto the platform from a trader's point of view, is select, for example, dot and LDOT. Right now it's powered by Acala, but we're working on an aggregator function that is going to default, all the trades that's between the dot and LDOT asset to Tapio protocol. Okay, so soon afterwards, we will sort of serve as the default DEX engine behind this specific pair. Again, very simply, you can just type in how many dot you want to exchange into LDOT, and just click swap, and then you will basically notice that this function powered by the Tapio stable swap engine is actually allowing you to have a much lower slippage, based on the same amount of liquidity. So from a liquidity provider standpoint, what you're doing by minting Tdot is you're contributing liquidity to the pool that facilitate trades for traders, and in return, you're actually collecting swap fees. Right now, swap fees is set to 0.25%. This percentage will be adjusted, later on the road once the pool liquidity stabilizes. So, in order for, let's say you are already contributing liquidity to the Tdot pool. If you wish to remove liquidity, very simple. Go back to the liquidity tab, select withdraw liquidity, and you can just input the amount and then withdraw your LP tokens back into dot and LDOT, and it will be based on the composition at the time of the pool proportion between dot and LDOT. So that's pretty much it around how to contribute liquidity, because we are still in the soft launch period. There's a few things that we are currently working on. Number one, also making Tdot a collateral type to mint AUSD. And number two is we are working on finalizing the incentive program for Tdot. Something that we are looking to do is to apply for a subsidy from the Polkadot Treasury Council to see whether we're able to get any subsidy for this particular pool, because ultimately the function that we're serving with Tdot is to really help minimize the liquidity fragmentation caused by different variations of staking or crowdloan dot derivatives. So it's a common service that we're providing to the entire Polkadot ecosystem. Hence, we are going to be applying for that subsidy once again. So in terms of the benefits, I talked about, from a liquidity provider standpoint, you can, provide liquidity to earn swap fees. But what else can you do with Tdot? So at the current stage, the other sort of benefits of holding onto Tdot is yield. Okay, so how the yield is actually rolled up for Tdot is actually through two parts. The first part, Tdot actually aggregates the underlying yield from LDOT. Okay, because remember, Tdot is made up of dot and LDOT, and LDOT actually has staking yield. Okay, so we are rolling up a portion of the staking yield into Tdot. Okay, so that means that for users who are contributing liquidity to Tdot and are holding on to Tdot, you're actually not sacrificing any type of yield. It's spread a bit thinner depending on the composition of the pool, but you are still retaining a portion of the yield from the underlying LDOT token. And I'm going to show you guys how to keep track of how much yield is coming through to Tdot from the underlying LDOT component. The second feature or benefit, or sorry, the second yield source for Tdot is actually from the fees that are collected. So there are two fees. Number one, as I talked about, is the swap fees. So whenever there's a swap transaction that occurs between DOT and LDOT, 0.25% is collected, and that percentage actually goes all towards to liquidity providers. And then also there's the redemption fees. Whenever somebody withdraw liquidity from, whenever somebody redeems, Tdot back into DOT and LDOT, there's also redemption fees gets applied, and then that redemption fee also gets paid out to liquidity providers. And then, as I mentioned just a little bit earlier, we're finalizing the incentive schedule for the Tdot program. So what that means is, we will be subsidizing, from our protocol level, our own native token to liquidity providers who are providing liquidity to the Tdot pool, as well as the potential to get subsidy from the Polkadot Treasury Council. So again, we are looking to make Tdot one of the most adopted, as well as the unified standard for staking derivatives as well as crowdloan derivatives across the entire Polkadot ecosystem. The game plan is to also deploy, the Tdot module onto, other parachains. That's something that we're also working on. So let's quickly shift over to the dashboard, because it actually helps us, keep track of, how are the yield being accumulated. So right now there are two components. There's the underlying yield from LDOT. So you can see so far it's roughly 10.6%. And then the second part is actually from the fees. So fees is made up of swap fees as well as redemption fees, and it's roughly 11.9%. And then those two adding together, you're looking at 22.5% just for holding Tdot. And this is before tacking on any other incentives or native tokens from our side. So just in terms of yield composition from these two sources, I would say Tdot offers a relatively competitive yield level, just across the board. So again, in terms of volume for Tdot right now, we haven't officially launched yet. We're going to launch the soft launch in a few days. So we definitely do see this supply, the total mint supply to go up, and also with your support, we definitely hope to see this number skyrocket in the coming weeks and months. So I'll stop there. Basically, we're super excited to be introducing Tdot, as the first synthetic dot asset on the Acala platform, and stay tuned for more updates and information around the incentive program for Tdot. During the soft launch period, I would highly encourage you guys to take part in the soft launch period, because there will be perks and rewards for those who takes the time to trial the protocol. All right, everyone, have a good rest of the day wherever you are.